After the game Saturday, Wanye talked about, maybe trying to do too much instead of just doing what he's supposed to be doing. Do you see an improvement with that with the entire team thus far?
Yeah, and he's a great example of that. Dramatic improvement by Wanye Thomas. His talent level has not necessarily improved. He's an elite college football talent at the safety position. As fluid as athletic, we would recruit him 1,000 out of 1,000 times. What you saw was the growth and development of a player. Going into week 8, the eye discipline, to your point, doing your job, knowing your assignment, having his eyes in the right spot at the safety position is critical, and he did that. And when he did that, he had the most successful game he had. He was our chaos creator, our most valuable player on defense for the game, and then he was also rewarded with the highlight plays. He had the interception. He had 2 tackle for losses where he was a post safety and a quarter safety at a depth of 12 yards and 14 yards, and he ran the alley and on a horizontal jet sweep play made 2 tackle for losses, which is very difficult to do. Talent comes into play at that point, but he even said it. He let loose a little bit, but did his job. And again, that was the development of a player. We had such high expectations for him. At the end of the day, when he started this season, he was getting his first reps as a safety. Last year he was a freshman All-American punt returner, but had very few cumulative reps at the safety position. And you're seeing that growth in that situation. So really proud of him. Really proud of his messaging, his leadership as a young dude. But it was good to see him play at that high level that we expect. And now just press repeat and let's go. Even the play that was right over here, the interception. He was just a post safety. Did a great job of trusting his instincts. And even the angle of departure to the football, he took the perfect angle and finished. He had the exact same play, our first game here versus South Florida, and he took a poor angle and actually undercut the post. It was an incompletion. I believe Trace Willing made the play on the football, but it should have completely been an interception. So, again, that's game 2. Last Saturday was game 8. And then he made that play. And that's what you're looking for, as a coach. Improvement for every single individual. And then obviously that was a big deal for our defense to create those takeaways, and he was the start of it.
Coach, heading into the Pitt game, you guys had 9 turnovers on the season, but you had 3 in the first half.
Yeah.
What was it against Pitt that they were able to have so much success against?
Please help me figure that out. Every coach in the country is standing up here and trying to figure that out. It's something that I've said it up here a million times. We talk about it at an exhausting rate. We practice at an exhausting rate. It is outside of effort. It is the second thing that we emphasize the most. And sometimes they just come in waves. And those came in waves. Again, kids have confidence in what they do. Tariq Carpenter made an interception off of an opportunistic moment. The young man, the tight end for Pittsburgh, was open. It went through his hands, it tipped to him, and Tariq Carpenter was opportunistic. Can you practice those moments? No, but you can be advantageous in those moments. The ones that we're most proud of and the ones that you have to emphasize to really get towards the top tier of leading the country in takeaways was the third one. The French young man had a great game, number 2 for Pittsburgh, but he had the ball, he was carrying it loose, and because of a violent tackle, the ball was punched out on the ground. The really cool piece about that is the things that we talk about most as a defense, effort, and takeaways happened in that moment. The ball came out, and we were the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th humans on the field to get to the football. So the ball popped out, a great play by David Curry. Jordan Dominic recovered the fumble, but you see another 3, 4, 5, 6 defensive players in that moment be around the football. And it's whatever that statistic is, you still can't measure what it does for motivation and energy and just momentum of a game. So that was huge for our defense, and I think they fed off that. But 3 takeaways, and I think it was 12 minutes left in the second quarter, so 3 takeaways in 18 minutes of a game. I can't script that. I don't know the perfect drill to do that, but we'll continue to emphasize it, and hopefully we get the same results. And then, again, sometimes they happen and they come in waves, and kids experience those moments of creating forced fumbles and getting interceptions like Wanye did it, making big plays, and they can press repeat and let's go.
Bryce Perkins is coming off a game where I think he was like 30 for 39, 300-plus yards in the air, 100-plus yards on the ground. What challenge does he present, and kind of watching film, what kind of stands out to you from the way that he plays? Yeah,
he is one of the best players in our conference, period. He does not have the most arm talent, but he is very efficient. Offensively, they make him efficient. They give him, I would just say, just healthy throws for him to make and completions for him to make to get him into a rhythm. And then as the game goes along, he gets better. He's got I'm going to go off the reservation a little bit here, but he's got a Tim Tebow-ish, Cam Newton-ish quality to him where the throwing motion is not what I guess quarterback coaches teach. It's not fluid. There's some awkwardness to it. But he creates such a challenge because of his physical body. He's difficult to take down. They are not afraid to run him. He's in game 8 of his senior season. He's got 150-plus rushes. They have not slowed down at all. They're not trying to protect him. A lot of teams try to protect their quarterbacks. They're not trying to protect him. He will go and aggressively try to win the game for him when he takes off with the football. And then as the game goes, he's one of those Tim Tebow, Cam Newton qualities. He just gets better. And as the momentum of the game continues to go, he gets better and better and better. So an unbelievably huge challenge. Again, efficient with the football, to your point of it's similar to last week. You think Virginia, as big as they are up front and as big as they are physically, that they would run the football more. They're very efficient and find a way to pass the ball more than they run it. And then when they need to, he is the top runner. I believe the second leading rusher on the team has 70 less carries than him. The third leading rusher on their team has 20 carries in 8 games. So, you're going to see him and the running back number 21, and he carries the load. You get to game 8 and game 9 of a season, and you think the cumulative blows of a quarterback position that's going to wear on him. But he's durable and he's competitive, and he just keeps getting better. And I can't compliment the kid enough. It's a huge challenge for us.
Coach Collins has mentioned in the past few meetings that 6 months ago this team could not go through the adversity that they've gone through now. For you personally, with the defense, how have you seen their mentality grow? And because so many teams, they could easily give up. And can you speak on some factors to that mentality that they have?
Sure, and then I'll speak specifically to 3 moments. I was just sitting back here waiting for my turn, and there's a post-game notes back there, and it had the players' quotes, and I read Wanye Thomas's quote. It's really cool when the head coach stands up here in a media setting and he says those things. It is culture building and real when a player says that in his post-game press conference after an adverse game, an adverse moment, after a loss, for him to say those things. To your point. So I don't remember the exact quote. It's back there on a sheet of paper. But him talking, he literally said the word 6 months ago, we would have handled a tough situation like that differently. We continue to believe in our process, continue to believe in the way that we prepare, continue to believe that the thing will flip. At whatever point, I don't know. Maybe it's this week versus Virginia. Maybe it's soon in the future. But, he's got as much as they want to know lens as we look through, he's got a lens of just believing in what we're doing and progressing. Other moments, you talk about growth and development. I talked about us specifically on defense, and unfortunately, Coach Collins just stole a little bit of my thunder. But we've had 2 sudden change situations in the last 2 weeks. From spring practice all the way through fall camp, we as coaches, we practice sudden change moments. When that happens, we do this right here. This action, we say put the ball down, put the ball down, put the ball down. So no matter the circumstances, we're teaching them to get past. Don't let circumstances dictate your behavior. Just continue to play. And those are tough moments, right? You create good moments on defense. When you create takeaways, we need to create more. And when you have to defend those on sudden changes, they're tough moments. They're momentum for the other team. So you have to have the correct mentality. Without the coaches prompting us, the last 2 weeks, we've had sudden change situations, and it has been player-led, and there's been an authenticity to it. There's been a realness to it. It's not I'm just doing this so the coach doesn't look at me like I'm not doing it. It was real. It was real as player-led. It was unprompted by the coaches. So those are culture-changing moments, to your point. And when kids are carrying the messages and not the coaches, that's evidence. So what are we doing? We're pressing repeat every week on the process and trying to get better, and that's all the kind of the head coach jargon. But those are real moments where we've been able to see that on in the framework of our side of the ball.
Okay. If you could give kind of a progress report on Trey, where he's gotten better, how he's been the last couple of weeks, solid season. And again, I try to make sure I reiterate this enough.
we're aggressive at the corner position, so we put them in a lot of competitive situations. You can go through a 75-play game on defense, and they maybe get challenged 3 or 4 times, and he wins the majority of those battles. But one time, they can make a elite catch, which happened to him on Saturday. The young man he was in great position. He was playing the technique that we taught, and the young man from Pitt made a play. So, when you're sitting in the stands, you see Trace Willing get beat on that play, but the other 70 plays he's playing at an elite level. So, progress report, improvement in playing the technique that we teach. The talent has continued to be there, but again, use the term bought in, or you use the term of doing what we asked them to do. Effort, caring, preparing. He is one of the best preparation young men that we have on the defense, and he has improved every single week. Point of emphasis, back shoulders, which will come into play this week. The quarterback we spoke of doesn't drive the ball down the field as much as some quarterbacks as we have faced. He's very efficient with underneath throws, but one of his best throws is the back shoulder fade, which will come into play because at some point we are going to play press coverage. It is not a secret, and that is a point of emphasis this week for practice that he'll continue to improve on. But very pleased with him, very pleased with his attitude, very pleased with his effort, and most pleased with his preparation. Again, we're trying to teach other guys on our defense to prepare like Trace Willing does for a game.
Time for one more here. When you talk about player development, Michael Lockhart was a kid that in high school came on late in the recruiting cycle, was recruited as a defensive end, moved inside, and then he worked his way up to where he finally got above the line. What has he done to get to where he is now?
He survived the test of attrition. He's improved every single week. He really has. I apologize for being a smart butt, but no, he's a basketball player his whole life. He goes up for football his senior year, and he's just bigger and more, just size-wise and more athletic than young men around him. And we saw him play on the basketball court at that size, and we're just completely attracted to what he would be in the future. All of a sudden, you get to week 8, and he's gotten better. When you're a basketball kid down there your whole life, the biggest piece is pad level. The biggest piece is using your hands, and he did that. There was a moment in the game late in the fourth quarter when we were in a critical situation, and Coach Knight, the tackles coach, had Michael Lockhart in there. And I had a second take, and I look at Larry, and he's like, he's good. He's playing really, really well. And sure enough, to Coach Knight's credit, to Michael Lockhart's credit, he played well. We ran a stunt with him from the boundary with a corner blitz, and he got across the guard's face. It was a double team. He reappeared off the double team and made the tackle, so he got his first career tackle as a college football player, and it was a big-time play versus a very solid offensive line. He used the exact technique. He had to work through 2 320-pound offensive linemen to make the tackle, and wrapped and rolled and got the young man down. So another example of a true freshman playing out there in critical moments, and he played at a high level. So, really, really proud of him and happy for him in that moment.
Awesome.